Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to install remote desktop services on server 2016 and configure it for internal use when it's joined to a domain. So let's go to Server Manager. During this install, there will be quite a few reboots required. So what I'll do, I'll pause the vid in between just to speed things up. Okay, so now we want to click on Add Roles and Features and Next. And we want to select Remote Desktop Services Installation and click Next. We're going to be doing a standard deployment. Like I said, this is for internal use only whilst the server is on a domain. So click Next, and we're going to be using session-based desktop deployment and click Next. These are the features that are going to be installed, so click Next. This is our local server, so we need to select this, add it to the right-hand plane, click Next. And make sure you check this box. Install the RD Web Access Role Service on the RD Connection Broker server, which is this server, and click Next. And we do the same again. Next. So this is what's going to be installed, and what we'll do, we'll allow the server to reboot automatically. This does normally reboot twice, so like I said, doing this, I will pause the vid the best I can. So click Restart and click Deploy. What you normally find with this, it'll install half of each one, then it will reboot, and then after reboot, it'll complete. Once it's complete, I would reboot again because otherwise it'll say there's an outstanding reboot required. And from experience, it's easier to just do it straight after this. So what I'll do, I'll pause the vid for now. As you can see, it's installed half of the first one. It'll do this on the remaining two, and then it'll reboot. And restarted. Right, the server's just rebooted, so I'm going to go back into Server Manager. When you log back onto the server, you must be logged on as a domain admin. If you're logged on as a local admin, it won't allow you to progress. You need to log off and log on as a domain admin. So we're just going to check the status now of the install. So like I said, I'll pause the vid to try and speed things up. Okay, and as we can see, you've got remote desktop services. So we're going to click on this once. Oh, there you go. Without me having to do it, it's popped up to say it's going to continue with the install. So we'll just wait for these to finish. And then once they have, I'll reboot the server again. And as you can see, the licensing window just popped up to say we have 120 days grace. So we're going to click close. And what we're going to do now, we're going to reboot the server before we proceed. Right, so the server's just rebooted. So I'm going to go back into Server Manager. And we're going to just check the installed config. And then I can explain what further configuration is required. It is a pain having to restart the server so many times. But if you don't, you will get told there's an outstanding reboot pending, and it is just a nightmare, so better to be safe than sorry. And there's our licensing window to say we have 120 days grace. We are going to install the RD licensing service, and then guess what? We're going to reboot the server again, yes. But I'll show you how to do that, and I'll also show you how to generate self-signed certificates, which we're going to use. Because this is in an internal server, we won't be using RD Gateway, and we won't be using any public certificates. So click on Remote Desktop Services. We'll just wait for this to check the config and give us an overview of what's installed. Okay, so now we can, let me just close this a sec. Okay, so now we can see what's been installed and configured automatically. And as you can see, RD Gateway isn't configured and RD Licensing isn't configured. So click RD Licensing, click on the local server, add, click Next, and this will install the licensing service. So yes, so we want to click Add. This doesn't take too long. Okay, and as you can see, it's installed. It's quite quick. So what we're going to do, we'll close this, we'll give it a reboot quick, just in case it asks. And I'll pause the vid. So one sec. Okay, so the server's rebooted after installing the RD licensing server. So let's go back to Server Manager. And we want to wait for it to check the server, and then we're going to click on the Remote Desktop Services again and check the overview before we proceed. Okay, so if we click on Remote Desktop Services and wait for it to show us the overview again. Okay, so here's our overview. So if we just scroll down now, wait for it to check the config, and as you can see, everything is configured apart from RD Gateway. Like I said, we won't be configuring this. This server is going to be used internally, so we're going to be setting up a self-signed cert, and yeah, it's just going to be used on the domain. So click Licensing, click on Tasks, and you want to go to Edit Deployment Properties. Now, there's RD Gateway. Like I said, it's not going to be used, so make sure this option is selected. RD Licensing. Now, depending on your licensing model, depends on how you configure this. We're using it on per user, and our local server has been selected. So click Apply, and now we want to click on certificates. Now we need to generate a self-signed certificate for each one of these. So what we'll do, yes, we know about updates, good old Windows. So I need to run PowerShell from an administrative prompt. So right click, run as administrator. And there's two commands we need to run. So I've got these saved. Okay, so the first one, this is the name of the server. So our server in this instance is called RD1. So we're going to copy this text out, and we're going to paste it in and press enter. That's the first command run successfully. Now, this password here, this can be whatever you want it to be. It's fine. And this is what you need to run. And this is going to be the password for the self-signed cert. So we're going to paste that in there and press enter. Now the cert has been generated and the name of the cert is going to be RD01. So we'll minimize this. We'll click cancel for now. And I'm going to run an MMC. So run MMC. And what we want to do, we'll expand this and we want to add the certificate snap-in. So select certificates, click add, and we want to do computer account and click next. It's the local computer we're running on, click finish and click OK. Now if I can just expand this a bit. So you want to drill down till you see personal, then certificates. And there is the name of the certificate we've just generated. So now we need to export this. So right click, all tasks, and you want to export. Follow the wizard, click next. And yes, we do want to export the private key. Click next, and we want to enter a password. So the password is the one we entered in here. So if I undo, in fact, why not just close that and open it back up? It'll be easier. Okay, so here's our password we have saved. And if I put that in twice, providing it's the right one, it'll allow us to export. File name, we're going to save it in My Documents, and we're going to call it RDP01, and click Save, and Next, and Finish. There you go, our export is fine. Now we can close the MMC console, and no, you don't want to save any changes. Now, RD licensing, click on Tasks, Edit Deployment, and we need to go to Certificates. So as you can see, it's not configured. So we're going to select an existing certificate. Let me just drag this up a bit. And we want to browse. And there's the certificate we exported. So click, open, enter our password, and allow certificate to be added to the trusted root certificate authority store on the destination computers. You can also deploy this via group policy to domain join machines and you won't get the cert error. So we're going to click OK. And as you can see, this is ready to apply. So we're going to click apply. And success. And we're going to repeat the process for the other two. Paste in, check the box, click OK and apply. And finally, the last one. Put the password in, check the box, OK, apply. So our cert is all ready to use. Now we need to add licensing to our server. So I've rebooted the server. Now we need to activate the server, and this is where you would install any licensing as well. And there will be a configuration error which we need to correct. So if we click on Start, go to Windows Administrative Tools, and there's the little pop-up telling us it's not licensed, and we have 114 days left. By default, this is 120. Let me just close that little pop-up. The first part of this video I made a few days ago, hence why we're a few days out. So click on Remote Desktop Services and click on Remote Desktop Licensing Manager. Now, if I close that window and maximize this, you'll see we do indeed have an error. So if we click Review, and just like I said, this server isn't a member of the Terminal Server Licensing Server Group in Active Directory. So providing you have domain admin rights, which we do, that's what we've logged on with, click add to group, continue. It's been added to the group, updated, so we're fine. So the next thing we need to do now is activate the server. So right click, activate server. For this, you will need internet access. You can do it over the phone if you don't, but it's a lot easier if you just do it online. So click next. We're going for automatic recommended. Yes, we know. Click next. And this is where you'd enter some information. So we're going to just put full stops, and I'm going to select the UK. And I'm going to click next. This is where you'd enter your support information if it's for a big company, if you've got a support agreement in place. So we don't, and it's optional anyway. So we're just going to click next. And if I take this tick away, you'll be able to see the server is indeed activated. And we have 114 days left, and we can use it as we wish. After 114 days is gone, this server will stop working, so you need to license it. To add licensing, I can show you, but obviously we don't have any licensing packs. So install licenses, click next. And this is where you choose. If you've bought a licensing pack, this is the normal one you see here. You would buy that, you would open it up, it would give you a code, you enter the code in there, you follow it through, next, and it adds the licenses to the server. You will be asked if you can do it in user or device mode. I can take you through some steps, but it won't activate. So if I just say I have a service provider agreement and I click next. Now this is not going to work, but it would if you had the right key. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This would be your agreement number. You'd click next. One sec, let me just close that. And this would be your product version. So we're running 2016, so why not? We'll just use those. License type. Now, if you have one remote desktop server farm and it's only got one server in it, I would do per user. You don't want to do it per device. So you'd click per user, you'd enter the amount, so 25 for argument's sake. You click next, and providing the information you've entered is correct, it will activate and it'll add the licenses to the server. So I'm going to just click cancel a sec. When they activate, you'll see a new line like this underneath, and it will tell you what license type and how many issued. So that's that. Then when you reboot the server, the licenses will be applied, and that's it. Sometimes you do get an error with licensing on these servers. So what I'm going to do is show you how to use group policy so this server looks at itself for the licensing, because sometimes it just doesn't work. So now I'm going to show you how to create a group policy and assign it to that particular server in question, which is RDP01, and use security filtering and disable the user configuration side of the policy. So click on Start. We're going to go to Windows Administrative Tools. We're going to open Group Policy Management, expand Group Policy Objects, right click and create new. And we're going to call this RDP01 and click OK. Select the policy, remove authenticated users, and now add the server you want to use and apply the settings to. So what we've done there, we've just selected computers because we're going to do it on the computer configuration side of group policy, and in here we're going to put RDP01, click check names, it's found the server, that's great. Now we're going to edit the policy. Let me just expand this so you can see, and we're going to go to administrative templates, Windows components, and we're looking for remote desktop services. Here we are. Now under here, we're going to be looking for the session host. Here it is, and under here we're going to be looking for licensing. So we want to set it to use the specified remote desktop servers. As you know, the server is called RDP01. So we would put the server name here, RDP01, and click apply. You can use the IP address, but I'd recommend the name. And we want to set the licensing mode. So we're using per user. So click enabled, click per user, click apply, click OK, and close group policy down. Now this is a policy, it's not linked to anything. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a new organizational unit, and we're going to call this RDP01 farm, and we need to move our server into here. So if I just close this down, open Active Directory using computers, and we're going to move this to RDP01 farm, click OK, open group policy back up. So we know our server's in that container, and we need to link this now to our policy. So link to existing group policy, RDP01, OK. So if we expand that, look at the settings, this is fine, just click OK. And you can see the policy is linked to this organization in Active Directory. Our server is in there, and it's using the server name as a security filter. One thing we need to do, so if we just expand group policies, if you click on details here, and we're only using the computer configuration, so user configuration settings is disabled, yes. So the only thing applying now is the computer side. Hope you enjoyed the vid. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.